Hey everyone, welcome back. 100 toxic life lessons that actually made my life so much better. What if I told you that some of the most toxic advice I've ever received completely transformed my life? What if the things society tells you are selfish, harsh, or even cruel are actually the keys to genuine happiness and success? I spent years following all the right advice. Be nice to everyone. Put others first. Never give up on your dreams. And I was miserable. Then I started embracing what people call toxic mindsets. And everything changed. In the next 50 minutes, I'm sharing 100 controversial life lessons that sound absolutely terrible on paper, but have made my life infinitely better. Some of these will make you uncomfortable. Some will challenge everything you believe about success, relationships, and happiness. But if you stick with me until the end, I promise you'll walk away with a completely different perspective on what it means to live well. And hey, if you're ready to question everything you think you know about life, smash that like button and let's dive in. Before we start, let me be clear, I'm not promoting actual toxicity or harmful behavior. What I'm talking about are mindsets and approaches that society often labels as selfish or negative but are actually healthy, boundaries and realistic perspectives. I've organized these 100 lessons into 10 categories, with 10 lessons each. We'll cover relationships, career, money, personal growth, and so much more. I'll share personal stories, explain why each lesson works, and give you practical ways to apply them. The categories are 1. Brutal self-honesty. 2. Relationship reality checks. 3. Career and ambition. 4. Money and success. 5. Personal boundaries. 6. Social dynamics. 7. Failure and rejection. 8. Time and priorities. 9. Happiness and contentment. 10. Life philosophy. Throughout this video, I'll be asking you to engage. Drop a comment with which lesson hits hardest, or share your own toxic wisdom. And if you want the full list to reference later, I put together a free PDF guide. Link is in the description. Ready? Let's shatter some illusions. Category 1. Brutal self-honesty. Let's start with the foundation, being brutally honest with yourself. This is uncomfortable territory, but it's where real growth begins. Lesson 1. You are not special. This sounds harsh, but accepting that you're not uniquely talented or deserving freed me from waiting for life to hand me opportunities. When I stopped expecting special treatment, I started creating my own luck. Lesson 2, your feelings are not facts. Just because you feel like a failure doesn't mean you are one. Just because you feel unloved doesn't mean nobody loves you. I wasted years making decisions based on temporary emotions instead of objective reality. Lesson 3, most of your problems are self-created. This was painful to accept. But once I realized I was the common denominator in my recurring issues, I gained the power to change them. Let me tell you about the time I blamed everyone else for my career stagnation. I complained about my boss, my coworkers, the company culture. Then I had a brutal realization. I was the one who wasn't improving my skills, wasn't taking initiative, wasn't communicating my value. That recognition changed everything. Lesson 4, you probably don't work as hard as you think you do. Track your actual productive hours for a week. You'll be shocked. I thought I was grinding 12-hour days until I realized 8 of those hours were scrolling, chatting, and procrastinating. Lesson 5, your comfort zone is a prison. Every single breakthrough in my life happened when I was terrified. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Lesson 6, you're probably the toxic person in someone else's story. This hit me like a truck. I realized that while I was busy identifying toxic people in my life, I was probably being toxic to others. Self-awareness is a mirror, not a telescope. Lesson 7. Your past doesn't define you, but it absolutely shapes you. Stop using your past as an excuse, but also stop ignoring how it influences your current behavior. Awareness without excuses is powerful. Lesson 8. You choose your problems. Rich people have rich people problems. Poor people have poor people problems. Single people have single people problems. Married people have married people problems. Life is about choosing which problems you want to deal with. Lesson 9. Most of your opinions are borrowed. How many of your beliefs did you actually form through personal experience versus absorbing from others? This realization made me question everything and develop genuine convictions. Lesson 10. You will die and most people won't remember you. Morbid, maybe. Liberating, absolutely. When I truly accepted my mortality and insignificance, I stopped worrying about what people thought and started living authentically. Drop a comment right now. Which of these self-honesty lessons made you the most uncomfortable? That's probably the one you need to work on most. Category 2. Relationship reality checks. Now let's talk about relationships, romantic, family, and friendships. These lessons might sound cold, but they've actually made my relationships stronger and more authentic. Lesson 11. You cannot change anyone. I spent years in relationships trying to help people become better versions of themselves. All I did was create resentment and exhaustion. Accept people as they are or walk away. Lesson 12. Love is not enough. Love without compatibility, shared values, and mutual respect is just a recipe for beautiful misery. I learned this the hard way in a 3-year relationship that felt like emotional torture. Lesson 13. Your family doesn't automatically deserve unlimited access to your life. Being related doesn't give someone the right to treat you poorly or drain your energy. Some of the most toxic relationships people maintain are with family members out of obligation. Lesson 14. Friendship should be effortless. If you're constantly working to maintain a friendship, it's not really a friendship. Good relationships flow naturally. Lesson 15. People show you who they are, believe them. Stop making excuses for people's behavior. When someone shows you they're unreliable, selfish, or dishonest, that's information, not a challenge to prove them wrong. I had a friend who constantly canceled plans last minute. For 2 years, I made excuses. They're busy. They're going through a lot. They don't mean it. Then I realized they were showing me exactly how much they valued our friendship. Once I accepted that information instead of fighting it, I could adjust my expectations and invest my energy elsewhere. Lesson 16. You don't owe anyone your time, energy, or attention. This isn't selfish, it's boundaries. Your resources are finite. Spend them wisely. Lesson 17. Most people don't actually want to hear about your problems. They want to feel helpful by offering advice. But they don't want the emotional burden of really listening. Find the few people who genuinely care and stop oversharing with everyone else. Lesson 18. Romantic relationships should add to your life, not complete it. The idea that you need someone to complete you is toxic. You should be whole on your own. A partner should be a bonus, not a necessity. Lesson 19. Most long-term relationships end. This sounds pessimistic, but accepting this reality made me appreciate my relationships more and put less pressure on them to be forever. Lesson 20. You teach people how to treat you. If you accept disrespect, you'll get more disrespect. If you reward bad behavior with attention, you'll get more bad behavior. Your boundaries train others on what's acceptable. Category 3. Career and ambition. Let's talk career and ambition. These lessons transformed how I approach work and success. Lesson 21. Following your passion is terrible advice. Passion follows mastery, not the other way around. I became passionate about things I got good at, not good at things I was passionate about. Lesson 22. Nobody owes you a career. Entitlement kills careers faster than lack of skill. The world doesn't care about your degree, your potential, or how hard you tried. It cares about results. Lesson 23. Your job is not your identity. When I stopped defining myself by my job title, I became much happier and ironically more successful. Your career is what you do, not who you are. Lesson 24. Being indispensable is a trap. If you're too valuable to promote, you'll never get promoted. Make yourself replaceable in your current role so you can move up. Lesson 25. Most meetings are a waste of time. I started declining meetings that didn't have clear agendas or outcomes. My productivity skyrocketed. Early in my career, I was the yes person who took on every project and stayed late every night. I thought this would lead to recognition and promotion. Instead, I burned out and watched less qualified. But more strategic colleagues advanced past me. I learned that being busy isn't the same as being valuable. Now I focus on high-impact work and communicate my value clearly. The results speak for themselves. Lesson number 26. Your coworkers are not your friends. Be friendly, be professional, but don't confuse workplace relationships with genuine friendships. I learned this when layoffs happened and friends threw each other under the bus. Lesson 27. Company loyalty is largely one-sided. Companies will lay you off the moment it benefits their bottom line. Be loyal to your own career growth, not to an organization. Lesson 28. Networking is about giving, not getting. The best networkers help others first. When I stopped asking for favors and started offering value, my professional network exploded. Lesson 29. Skills matter more than credentials. I've seen people with fancy degrees get outperformed by self-taught individuals who focused on practical skills. Focus on what you can do, not where you learned it. Lesson 30. You're not underpaid. You're underskilled or undermarketed. This stung when I first heard it, but it shifted my focus from complaining about salary to improving my value proposition. Mid-video engagement break. All right, we're 30 lessons in. How are you feeling? Uncomfortable yet? Good, that means we're getting somewhere. Before we continue, I want to hear from you. In the comments, tell me, which lesson so far has challenged you the most? What's one toxic piece of advice that actually helped you? And if this content is hitting different than other self-help videos you've watched, smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We're just getting started. And the next 70 lessons are going to get even more controversial. Also, quick reminder, I've put together a complete PDF guide with all 100 lessons plus action steps for each one. It's completely free. Link is in the description. Download it now so you can reference these lessons later. Let's keep going with money and success mindsets that might make you squirm. Category 4. Money and success. Money conversations make people uncomfortable, but avoiding money talk keeps you broke. These lessons changed my entire financial life. Lesson 31. Money doesn't buy happiness, but poverty definitely buys misery. The idea that money doesn't matter is usually promoted by people who have it. Financial stress destroys relationships, health, and opportunities. Lesson 32. You probably don't deserve more money. Market value isn't based on what you need or want. It's based on what value you provide. Want more money? Provide more value. Lesson 33. Most people are financially illiterate by choice. Information about money management is free and abundant. Staying broke is often a choice to remain ignorant. Lesson 34. Your financial problems are usually behavior problems. It's not about how much you make. It's about what you do with what you make. I've seen people making $200K living paycheck to paycheck. Lesson 35. Rich people think differently about money. They see money as a tool, not a goal. They focus on assets, not income. They think long-term, not instant gratification. I used to think rich people were lucky or unethical. Then I started studying their actual habits and mindsets. I realized they weren't necessarily smarter. They just had different relationships with money, risk, and delayed gratification. When I started thinking like an investor instead of a consumer, my financial situation completely transformed. Lesson 36. Most financial advice is designed to keep you middle class. Save 10% of your income and invest in index funds aren't bad advice, but they're designed for financial mediocrity, not wealth building. Lesson 37. You have to spend money to make money. The fear of spending money often prevents people from making money. Strategic investments in yourself, your skills, and your opportunities are necessary for growth. Lesson 38. Budgeting is for poor people. Instead of restricting spending, focus on increasing income. Rich people don't budget. They strategically allocate resources for maximum return. Lesson 39. Your time is more valuable than your money. Once you truly understand this, you stop doing low-value tasks and start paying others to handle them so you can focus on high-value activities. Lesson 40. Most people will never be wealthy because they can't delay gratification. The ability to sacrifice today for a better tomorrow is the foundation of wealth building. Most people want everything now. Category 5. Personal boundaries. Boundaries are where most people struggle because they think setting boundaries makes them mean or selfish. These lessons will change that perspective. Lesson 41, no is a complete sentence. You don't need to justify, explain, or apologize for your boundaries. No doesn't require a reason. Lesson 42, people-pleasing is manipulation. When you do things just to be liked, you're manipulating others' perception of you. It's dishonest and exhausting. Lesson 43, you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Just because someone wants to fight doesn't mean you have to participate. Sometimes the most powerful response is no response. Lesson 44. Your availability doesn't obligate you to help. Being capable of helping someone doesn't mean you're required to help them. You can be skilled and still say no. Lesson 45. Boundaries aren't walls. They're gates. Good boundaries aren't about keeping everyone out. They're about controlling who gets access to what parts of your life. I used to be the person everyone called when they needed something. I was proud of being helpful, until I realized I was enabling learned helplessness in others while neglecting my own needs. When I started setting boundaries, some people got angry and called me selfish. But the people who truly cared about me respected my limits, and our relationships actually got stronger. Lesson 46, you can't control others' reactions to your boundaries. Some people will guilt trip you, get angry, or try to manipulate you when you set boundaries. Their reaction is information about them, not instruction for you. Lesson 47. Healthy people respect boundaries. If someone consistently pushes against your boundaries after you've clearly communicated them, they're showing you who they are. Believe them. Lesson 48. You don't owe anyone access to your emotions. Just because someone asks how you're feeling doesn't mean you have to share. Emotional boundaries are just as important as physical ones. Lesson 49. Setting boundaries with family is not disrespectful. Family relationships still need healthy limits. Being related doesn't give someone permission to treat you poorly. Lesson 50. Boundaries protect relationships. They don't damage them. Clear expectations and limits, actually, create more trust and respect in relationships. Healthy boundaries create healthy connections. Category 6. Social dynamics. Let's talk about how people really behave in social situations. These insights might make you see social interactions very differently. Lesson 51. Most people don't actually listen. They wait for their turn to talk. Once I realized this, I stopped expecting deep conversations from everyone and started appreciating the few people who actually listen. Lesson 52. Social media is performance, not reality. Everyone is curating their best moments. Comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel is pointless and damaging. Lesson 53. Most people are too worried about themselves to judge you as much as you think. That embarrassing moment you're obsessing over, everyone else forgot about it in 5 minutes because they're thinking about their own stuff. Lesson 54. Gossip tells you more about the gossiper than the subject. People who constantly talk negatively about others will eventually talk negatively about you. It's not about the people they're discussing, it's about their character. Lesson 55. You can't reason with unreasonable people. Some people are committed to misunderstanding you. Stop wasting energy trying to convince people who don't want to be convinced. I used to think everyone's opinions of me mattered equally. I would exhaust myself trying to be liked by everyone, including people I didn't even like. Then I realized that most people's opinions of me had nothing to do with me and everything to do with their own insecurities, biases, and projections. Now I focus on being authentic with people whose opinions actually matter to me. Lesson 56. Small talk is a social skill, not a waste of time. I used to hate small talk and thought it was shallow. Then I realized it's how humans build rapport and trust. It's a valuable social lubricant. Lesson 57. Most social rules are arbitrary. Once you understand that most social conventions are made up and changeable, you can navigate them more strategically rather than feeling trapped by them. Lesson 58. People respect you more when you respect yourself. How you treat yourself teaches others how to treat you. Self-respect is magnetic. Lesson 59. Authenticity is more attractive than perfection. People connect with real struggles and genuine emotions more than polished facades. Vulnerability is strength. Lesson 60. You don't have to be friends with everyone you like. Just because someone is a good person doesn't mean they need to be in your inner circle. You can appreciate people from a distance. Category 7. Failure and rejection. This category might be the most important one, because how you handle failure determines everything else in your life. Lesson 61. Failure is data, not judgment. Every failure teaches you something valuable about what doesn't work. It's information, not a reflection of your worth. Lesson 62. Rejection is redirection. Most of the time, rejection saves you from something that wasn't right for you anyway. Trust the process. Lesson 63. You will fail more than you succeed. This isn't pessimism, it's statistics. Most attempts fail. The key is making sure your successes outweigh your failures in impact. Lesson 64. Embarrassment is temporary, but regret lasts forever. The fear of looking foolish stops most people from trying. I'd rather fail publicly than wonder what if privately. Lesson 65. Your biggest failures often lead to your biggest breakthroughs. Some of my worst moments forced me to develop skills and perspectives that became my greatest strengths. 3 years ago, I launched a business that completely flopped. I lost money, time, and pride. I was devastated and felt like a complete failure. But that failure taught me more about business, marketing, and myself than any success ever had. The skills I developed trying to save that failing business became the foundation for my current success. Sometimes you need to fall apart to fall into place. Lesson 66. Most people quit right before the breakthrough. Success often comes right after the point where most people give up. Persistence isn't glamorous, but it's decisive. Lesson 67. You learn more from your failures than your successes. Success can make you overconfident and blind to what's actually working. Failure forces you to analyze and improve. Lesson 68. Rejection says nothing about your worth. One person's no doesn't define your value. Sometimes it's not about you at all. It's about timing, fit, or their limitations. Lesson 69. Fear of failure is more limiting than actual failure. The stories we tell ourselves about what failure means are usually worse than failure itself. Most failures are survivable and educational. Lesson 70. Every expert was once a beginner who refused to give up. The difference between experts and amateurs isn't talent. It's persistence through repeated failure and gradual improvement. Category 8. Time and priorities. Time is the only resource you can't get more of. These lessons will change how you think about and use your time. Lesson 71. You have time for everything you prioritize. When you say you don't have time for something, you're really saying it's not a priority. Be honest about your choices. Lesson 72. Busy is not productive. Being busy makes you feel important. But productivity is about results, not activity. I've accomplished more in focused, 4-hour blocks than in scattered, 12-hour days. Lesson 73. Most of what you do doesn't matter. The 80-20 rule applies to everything. 20% of your actions produce 80% of your results. Focus on the 20%. Lesson 74. Multitasking is a myth. Your brain doesn't multitask. It task switches, and every switch has a cognitive cost. Single tasking is more efficient. Lesson 75. You can't manage time. You can only manage energy. Working when you're tired and unfocused is less productive than resting and working when you're sharp. I used to pride myself on being busy all the time. My calendar was packed, I was always grinding, and I felt important. But when I actually analyzed my results, I realized I was spinning my wheels. I was confusing motion with progress. When I started ruthlessly prioritizing and saying no to low-value activities, my actual productivity and results improved dramatically while working fewer hours. Lesson 76. Your future self is a different person. Stop assuming future you will be more motivated or have more time. Make decisions based on who you are now, not who you hope to become. Lesson 77. Perfectionism is procrastination in disguise. Waiting for the perfect moment or perfect plan is just fear dressed up as standards. Done is better than perfect. Lesson 78. You waste more time deciding than doing. Decision fatigue is real. The energy you spend debating whether to do something could often be used to just do it. Lesson 79. Rest is productive. Recovery isn't laziness, it's maintenance. You can't run a machine at full capacity without scheduled maintenance. Lesson 80. Time scarcity creates focus. When you have unlimited time, you waste time. Constraints force prioritization and efficiency. Category 9. Happiness and contentment. The pursuit of happiness might be making you miserable. These lessons changed my entire approach to contentment and joy. Lesson 81. Happiness is not a destination. If you're waiting to be happy until you achieve certain goals, you'll never be happy. Happiness is a practice, not a result. Lesson 82. Most of what makes you happy is free. The most reliable sources of happiness, relationships, nature, personal growth, creativity, don't cost money. We overcomplicate joy. Lesson 83. Comparison is the thief of joy. There will always be someone smarter, richer, more attractive, or more successful than you. Focus on your own growth, not relative position. Lesson 84. You don't need to be positive all the time. Toxic positivity is real. Sometimes life sucks, and pretending otherwise is exhausting and inauthentic. Feel your feelings. Lesson 85. Gratitude is a skill, not a feeling. Waiting to feel grateful keeps you waiting. Practice gratitude regardless of how you feel, and the feeling will follow. For years, I chased happiness through achievements, purchases, and experiences. I thought happiness was something I had to earn or find. I was constantly looking for the next thing that would make me happy. Then I realized happiness isn't something that happens to you. It's something you choose and practice. When I started focusing on appreciation for what I already had instead of constantly wanting more, everything changed. Happiness became my default state instead of a rare visitor. Lesson 86. Your problems will scale with your success. Getting what you want doesn't eliminate problems. It changes the type of problems you have. Rich people still worry. They just worry about different things. Lesson 87. Contentment comes from accepting what is, not getting what you want. Peace isn't about having a perfect life. It's about accepting an imperfect life without constant resistance. Lesson 88. You can't think your way to a better feeling. Sometimes you need to change your behavior to change your emotions. Action can lead to motivation, not just the other way around. Lesson 89. Meaning matters more than happiness. A meaningful life includes difficulty, sacrifice, and pain. A meaningful struggle is better than meaningless pleasure. Lesson 90. You're already enough. The feeling that you need to be more, do more, or have more to be worthy is the root of most suffering. You're enough right now. Category 10. Life philosophy. Let's end with the big picture. Fundamental truths about life that took me years to understand and accept. Lesson 91. Life is not fair, and that's actually good news. If life were fair, you'd get exactly what you deserve. No more, no less. Unfairness creates opportunities for both tragedy and unexpected blessings. Lesson 92. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. This distinction is life-changing because it means you don't have to believe or act on every thought that crosses your mind. Lesson 93. Everything is temporary. Your problems are temporary. Your successes are temporary. Your pain is temporary. Your joy is temporary. This perspective creates both humility and hope. Lesson 94. You will never have all the answers.